My name is Casagrande. I come from Finland. I'm an architect. I have to tell a little bit about my background. I come from the very north part of Finland, from Lapland. I grew up there in a border between village people and nomads. We are running a small practice in Finland which is focused in architecture and innovation. We are dealing with cities, and our goal is urban ecological restoration of existing cities. The first project is called Treasure Hill. It's an unofficial settlement in Taipei City, Taiwan. I was invited there to make outlines for ecological restoration for urbanized Taipei Basin, but I found out that the data, what the official city was given to me, was more or less useless. It was like a manual of a machine. So I started to go into these unofficial settlements and try to understand what is the local knowledge of Taipei. And this particular settlement, Treasure Hill, was under demolition. The same city government that has invited me there was destroying this settlement. When I went inside Treasure Hill, I found out that inside this unofficial settlement is many of these values that the official city is asking me actually to announce for them. They were recycling all their organic waste, composting it for the farms. They were doing urban farming for getting food. They were harvesting garbage from the city, recycling it, selling it back. They were stealing a little bit of water, but not too much, just a little, not to annoy the official city too much. And then they clean the dirty waters with patches of jungle, make it clean again, take it to the farms. They also steal electricity, but not too much, just a little. And so it's a very sustainable city form, but same time the official city was destroying it. In Treasure Hill was living 400 households. When I arrived there, they were all already quite old veterans from the Civil War of China. So my program was to reverse the destruction process of the official city. So I restarted the farms, and I restarted making connections between the half-destroyed houses so that this urban organism could circulate again. As you know, with any organism, if the circulation is cut down, you will just slowly die. And this was intended also for Treasure Hill. So I had to restart the circulation. Chinese are referring to it as acupuncture. So all these interventions are very small scale and very fast. I was using wood mainly, building up steps, make the connections, and together with the local people, start the farms. I had to get manpower, which I didn't have, so I was going in local universities, recruiting students. In the end, we had 200 students. Then I needed construction material, so a group of maybe 4 or 5 really beautiful girl students went to a construction site, which was next to this place, explained what we're doing with local people. So the construction workers started to steal material for us. They were going to the construction site with the trucks and offload maybe 10%, which we take and start making this. So immediately when the normal people sense that we are working with the local knowledge, they start to participate. And this is not a design question, it's an energy question. Treasure Hill is it's a ruin. Ruin for me is a very positive thing. It is something that the human control is opened up. And when the human control is opened up, nature can step in. So co-architect in Treasure Hill is nature. This is very important. So many of the solutions what the normal people do is sort of half-finished. Nature will continue from the half-finished and then make, for example, a window. Little bit more about ruin. I started to feel very impressed how this local knowledge, which is more or less the opposite of the official, Official means central control. Local knowledge is organic, and this organic local knowledge is connected with nature. It is the normal ways how to live on a site together with nature, not against nature. If you go against nature, you waste energy. People want to be lazy. So then I start to think that what it means that if you have the official city, you have these punctual interventions, unofficial cities or unofficial urbanism inside the city, performing urban acupuncture for the existing city. So what does it want? It's obvious that the nature only wants that the city becomes part of nature. And the local knowledge through this urban acupuncture is performing for that. People do it unconsciously. It's not a big plan. There is nothing behind it. There is no method. It's just happening. It's natural. This is Mrs. Chen, who is the matriarch of Treasure Hill. Many of I would say most of the urban farming communities, urban nomad communities are matriarchal. City is a very patriarchal system, and the more official it gets, the more patriarchal it gets. But these organic settlements, they are matriarchal. Usually you have a, let's say, anarchist grandmother who is running the show. In this case is Mrs. Chen. So when we pinpointed this understanding, of course, we started to interview these kind of local knowledge professors, like Mrs. Chen, or some fishermen who've been living together with urban river all their life. So after Treasure Hill, I was given a professorship in a Taiwanese university called Tamkang University in the architecture department, where they encouraged me to go further with the urban acupuncture, thinking of local knowledge and the thinking of the third generation city. In the end, we were collaborating with so many different disciplines, including sociology, anthropology, biologists, horticulture, media, and so forth, and local people, that actually being in architecture department was not enough. So we set up an independent research unit, research center called Ruin Academy. This is the image of that. When we entered there, we wanted to ruin the building. It was 5 floors high, so we took all the walls away from inside, and then we start drilling holes through the whole building, so that it can rain inside. Because, you know, if you have water, light, and topsoil, then things start growing. But on the other hand, we also wanted to manifest that we need to break this control. We need to break architectural control and the official control. Otherwise, nature cannot be. Like you see here, we knocked off all the windows also, just inspired by Treasure Hill, and grew bamboo, so that the bamboo is keeping the storm waters outside, keeping the noise outside. We knock off the bottom floor so that trees can start growing. Here is the bamboo for the windows, one bed. Some places for students to work, they also sleep there. And they have gardens here and there where the water can come, and they are growing up things. Here is a student garden. And fireplaces. Fire is essential, of course. On the top floor of the Ruin Academy, we have a public sauna. I am from Finland, so this is a necessity, of course. But yeah, it's the best sauna in the Pacific. But it's kind of like a hardcore of our thinking. Get naked and go there. Yeah. This is a big inspiration. It's an urban bonsai. It looks like a very little thing, but it's a very, very important thing. You have some seams in the elements, and they are collecting some dirt, topsoil, some water, and it knows exactly how much sunshine it gets, how big are the winds. So it regulates itself. It don't want to come bigger. This is it. If it grows bigger, then maybe the winds take it down. This is a big sister or brother or son of it, just the opposite side of a street. This is 5 floors high. And we use a structural engineer to see where are the roots going. The roots have two systems. One is going to the sewage, water circulation of the house, and the other one is going to the concrete slabs and using the house as the structure. So it is completely using the human activity as a living source. It knows how much toilet is used, and it is using that. It is using people. It's also using architecture as the growing platform. So this is a third generation condition now. Human nature and nature sharing the same architectural spot. This happens everywhere in nature, of course. The only rule of nature is existence maximum. It wants to produce maximal life in a given conditions, in all scales. This is what people do. This is real urban acupuncture in Taipei. They see that, okay, here is a construction site and nothing happens. If nothing happens, the anarchist grandmothers attack. And they change it into a garden. This is the most expensive land in Taipei. 3 banks have been fighting for it for 30 years, but none of them get to control. So the anarchist grannies, they control. Here is all the unofficial urban farms and collective gardens of Taipei. So this is the actual map of urban acupuncture. These are the urban acupuncture points where people and communities are ruining the industrial city in order to turn it towards the organic, towards the third generation city. Taipei Basin, totally urbanized. This is the solution what official city has. Other side is human. Then you build a 12 meters high reinforced concrete wall. Other side is nature. No connection. Some topics what we've been discussing with the Ruin Academy: illegal architecture, urban acupuncture, river urbanism, urban nomad, organic machine, parasite urbanism, and local knowledge. But all these are based on real issues. It's not academic inventions by us. It's what real people are really doing. Then just to show an example, short example, what local knowledge can do. This is from South China in Shenzhen. I went there and asked the migrating workers, because they come from countryside, that if you come from countryside, you must have local knowledge. You've been living together with nature all your life, farmers, so on. They are doing those buildings officially there. But then I asked, like, what can you really do? And these guys were coming from a province of Guangxi, and they say that we can do anything out of bamboo. So I just sketch something, and they start working. Totally lazy, totally weak, no effort, and these fantastic organic shapes come, and no tools, just bamboo, fire, and water. And they can do this. Inside, actually they wanted to have a kind of unofficial lounge for the migrating workers, like a social club for karaoke and things like that. So this is their cocoon for karaoke. Outside is the official city, and when you go inside, the official city really like disappears. Yeah, it disappears. Although the fabric is so lightweight and almost nothing, it's so powerful. So all the skyscrapers are gone. And like all these works, if I'm working with the local people, it's more or less totally improvised. It's just a dialogue, and these kind of things are growing up. In the nighttime, they are setting up a construction light, one construction light, and it turns out to become a disco. Yeah, fantastic. Here you see karaoke event is cooking up. And also this is what local knowledge can do. This is what an architect in the office cannot do. From the beginning, they know that they're not going to finish this building. Nature will finish it. And they understand how nature will work from the very first start. So they just do the primary structure, and then nature grows on it and finishes it up. So nature is the co-architect. Then the conclusion of these kind of studies Paracity. Taipei city government asked us to design a new kind of urban model, like a parasite that can grow into the city and start curing it up, turning it into organic. Here we have an island which is flooding. To the island we are building up a wooden primary structure. We leave it unfinished so that people can start moving in. This is the basic structure, 6 times 6 times 6 meters, but we leave it empty. Becomes some sort of an urban organism, and people start moving in, making it ready, like the nature did with the previous work. So it becomes some kind of a human mangrove. We give the primary structure, but that's it. People will finish their city, they start farming on top of it. Inside is the primary structure. Flooding can come, no problem. We leave the first floor empty instead of this. Then it can start growing to the city from a punctual point. This is one module now, 6 times 6 times 6 meters with wooden joints, no metal, nothing. You just join them together, 1 cube, 2 floors, more cubes, more and more cubes, and then you have a city here. Okay, thank you.